Right now, you believe you are the one choosing. You believe that when you say yes or no, you've arrived at that choice in real time. But the truth is, reality locks in before your mind catches up. And if you can learn to catch that moment, the instant before your conscious brain stamps its approval, you can rewrite the outcome of your life faster than any vision board, any affirmation, or any amount of trying. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how reality is selected and how to align with your highest outcome before your brain even gets involved. The moment reality decides in the world of quantum physics, there's a strange truth. The universe doesn't wait for you to think about a decision before locking in an outcome. Max Planck, the father of quantum theory, hinted that consciousness is fundamental and matter is secondary. That means reality is being chosen in an invisible space before the conscious mind reacts. And neuroscience backs this up. In the 1980s, Benjamin Libet ran experiments showing something shocking. When people decided to press a button, their brain's motor signal, the readiness potential, fired milliseconds before they were aware of deciding. In other words, your mind is late to your own life. So, if the choice happens before the choice, where is it really being made? The pre-selection window, this gap in the microseconds between subconscious choice and conscious recognition, is the pre-selection window. It's where the quantum field is collapsing wave functions into particles. Physicist John Wheeler called it the participatory universe, meaning reality needs your participation, but it doesn't wait for your slow-thinking conscious brain. Think about it. By the time you feel like you're making a choice, the quantum dice have already rolled. And here's the life-changing part. You can influence what gets selected, not by thinking harder, but by being the version of you who already lives in the reality you want, before the decision moment arrives. This is where quantum manifestation becomes effortless. Why most people manifest backwards? Most people visualize when they want something. They think, I'll imagine it now so it can happen later. But the later is too late. If you're only entering your desired state after you've started the decision process, you've missed the pre-selection window. That's why results feel inconsistent. That's why affirmations sometimes work and sometimes don't. The quantum field isn't responding to the words you speak after the fact. It's responding to the identity you carry before reality checks in with you. Joe Dispenza calls this being the cause, not the effect. The observer effect in action. In quantum physics, the observer effect says that possibilities remain in waveform until observed. Once observed, they collapse into a single outcome. Here's the secret. Your state of being is the observer. When you live in a frequency of doubt, the field collapses into probabilities that match that doubt before you ever consciously decide. When you live in a frequency of certainty, it collapses into probabilities that match certainty. Niels Bohr famously said, "Everything we call real is made of things that cannot be regarded as real," meaning the real power is in the unseen state before matter appears. How to access the pre-selection state. So, how do you influence reality in that invisible space before the conscious choice? Here's the three-phase process. Baseline state recalibration. Before anything happens, train your default emotional state. This is not trying to be positive. It's removing the emotional clutter that drags your frequency down. Breathwork, meditation, and heart-brain coherence are powerful here. Micro-moment awareness. Start catching yourself in the split-second pause before acting or speaking. Notice the body's impulse before the mind's story catches up. Identity lock-in. In those pauses, ask silently, who am I in this moment? Choose the identity of the version of you who already lives in the reality you want. Let that identity drive the action, not the old program. When you live like this, reality has no choice but to match the new baseline. Emotional triggers as quantum catalysts. Here's something that flips the whole game. The most powerful pre-selection moments aren't calm, they're emotional. When you're triggered, angry, anxious, excited, you enter a heightened neurochemical state. That's when the quantum field listens most closely, because your energy spikes. The mistake? Most people spike their energy in fear or frustration, locking in low vibration realities. The mastery? Learn to spike your energy in gratitude, wonder, and power, even when life throws you a curveball. That's how you flip negative triggers into quantum leaps, training the nervous system to hold higher timelines. A lot of people think manifestation is mental, but your nervous system decides what you can hold. If your body sees your dream life as too much love, too much success, too much freedom, it will unconsciously reject it before you choose it consciously. You have to teach your body that safety exists at higher frequencies. That means gradually expanding your comfort with abundance, practicing feeling the emotions of success daily, grounding yourself so expansion doesn't feel unsafe. This stabilizes the pre-selection identity. Letting the quantum field work for you. Once you've trained your baseline state, once you've caught the micro moments, once you've locked in the identity, you stop forcing outcomes. You stop pushing to make it happen. Instead, you live as if it's already happened, and you let the quantum field reorganize reality on your behalf. Deepak Chopra calls this the law of least effort. The universe loves efficiency, and the most efficient path to your dream life is already written, in that moment before you decide. The 24-hour challenge. Here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, notice every micro moment before you act. Before you speak, text, click, or respond, catch the readiness potential in your body. Ask, what identity am I in? Does this identity match my highest reality? If not, shift in that instant, before the mind catches up. Do this and you'll start noticing how life bends to your new state. Fast. Closing activation. Close your eyes. Feel the you who already has what you've been asking for. Not the you who's trying, not the you who's hoping, the you who is already living it. Lock that in, because from this moment forward, every decision has already been made. And now you know how to make sure the field chooses your highest timeline. Before your mind does, your subconscious as the real manifester. Most people think their conscious desires create reality, but your subconscious runs 95% of your decisions. That means even if you consciously want wealth, love, or freedom, if your subconscious sees them as unsafe or not for you, it will pre-select outcomes that block them. Here's the kicker. The subconscious doesn't speak English. It speaks emotion, repetition, and imagery. So if you want to influence pre-selection, you need to teach your subconscious the emotional safety of your desired reality, over and over until it becomes the default. How micro decisions shape entire timelines. We think big life changes come from big choices, but the truth is, tiny micro decisions stack into new timelines. That half second when you decide to say yes instead of later. That subtle pause before you react in anger. That moment when you choose to go for a walk instead of doom scrolling. Each is a seed that the quantum field expands into a completely different sequence of events. When you master the micro, you master the macro. Parallel user weighting quantum theory suggests every possibility exists. Right now, there's a version of you who's already free, already in love, already living in your dream home. That version isn't out there, it's running parallel. When you catch the pre-selection window and align your identity, you aren't creating that reality from scratch. You're tuning your frequency to the version of you who already lives it. Think of it as changing radio stations. The song is already playing. You just have to tune in. The danger of emotional echoes. Here's where most people get stuck. Even when they start shifting identity, they carry emotional echoes from their old timeline. It's like trying to broadcast a new signal while an old recording keeps playing in the background. You have to clear those echoes by forgiving past versions of yourself, releasing resentment, and cutting emotional cords to outdated stories. Otherwise, the quantum field keeps locking you into realities that match your old emotional soundtrack, collapsing probabilities on purpose. In quantum mechanics, until an event is observed, it exists in a cloud of probabilities. Your job as a conscious creator is to collapse the probability you want.